and that child will be separated from you probably as required by law. If you don't want your child to be separated, then don't bring them across the border illegally. It's not our fault.
That would be the Attorney General of the United States, Mr. Sessions. Steve Roberts joins us. He's ABC News political analyst from Washington at 7:52. It strikes me as interesting that unless you are a Native American Indian, you're an immigrant to this country. And
that's true.
And this administration has really clamped down hard on immigration with the feeling, I guess, that immigrants are drug addicts, thieves, muggers, murderers, and so on and so forth, and totally ignoring the fact that many of these people come into our country and they provide to the society as a whole in a most positive of fashions. We just heard from the Attorney General about his feelings, and which obviously mirrors the administration. What else are they doing right now with regard to people who want to come to this country?
Well, there was a whole series of policies, as you point out, that all amount to a escalation, a serious escalation of attempts to either deport illegals who are already here or keep others out. In some ways, this is a policy that says not just to make America great again, but make America white again. A great many of these policies are aimed at people of color coming from Africa, the countries that the president famously referred to as S-hole countries. There are 300,000 folks from Latin America who are here on temporary status after civil strife and natural disasters in their countries, in Honduras, El Salvador, Haiti. These have often been here 20, 30 years. The president has ordered them all to be deported. And this is very much part of a pattern that politically is very popular with the base of the Republican Party and the people who voted for Donald Trump. But from a larger point of view, you make an excellent point. Every single economic study, and I've written 2 books about immigration, and I've looked at this fairly carefully. Every single study that's ever evaluated the economic impact of immigrants to this country show that the benefits of immigration are far greater than the costs. And in fact, ironically, among the people who most benefit from healthy immigration are Donald Trump supporters, aging white men who are about to retire or have retired already. Who is going to pay their Social Security benefits? Who is going to pay the taxes that support Medicare? Fact is that this country needs young, hardworking immigrants to help pay those bills. But the policies that Trump follows play on people's emotions, often successfully, but they don't look at the negative economic impact that his policies can have and are having all across the country.
The interesting thing to me is that there are people who come to this country on work visas, and the president utilizes them, Mar-a-Lago and his other resorts. Several years ago, I had a conversation with a man who was doing our lawn service for us, and he said, it's really tough. And this is way before Donald Trump even thought about running for president. But he said it's very difficult because these people have to be vetted. They have to have their proper identification. He said, I have to use attorneys. And most of his employees came from Mexico. And he said, they're great workers. They're doing something. I can't get Americans to do these jobs, cutting grass and working in flower beds and that sort of thing. It seems to me that we're sort of shooting ourselves in the foot, basically. The people who take care of picking foods and so on and so forth.
Right. There's no doubt about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's no doubt about this. That virtually everybody who picks, packs, and plucks an American agricultural product is an immigrant. Some are illegal. Some are here under temporary work visas. But the fact is that for all the talk about that Donald Trump and others say that these are people are taking jobs away from Americans, that is not true. They do jobs that Americans don't want, particularly in the agricultural sector. And across America today, there are farmers who are leaving crops in the field. There was a big story in the Washington Post the other day about how the crab industry in Maryland half the crab houses are closed because they can't get enough foreign workers to pick the crabs. So, and this is a story told up and down America. In Trump's policies, for instance, where he's reduced the flow of refugees to a mere trickle. Meat packing plants, poultry packing plants around this country depend heavily on refugee workers because, again, these are jobs Native Americans will not do. I was recently got new knees at a local hospital here in Maryland. If you took every foreign-born woman of color out of the hospital where I got my knees fixed, those hospitals would collapse overnight. The fact is that immigrants are absolutely central to economic vitality and growth in this country. Every economic study has always shown that. In the short term, they can cost some extra because of they can weigh down the schools a little bit. They can go to hospital emergency rooms, but very quickly, immigrants more than pay for themselves. But
Steve,
you don't hear that from this president.
Steve, this is something we're going to have to continue later on down the road. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Sure.
Steve
Sure.
Roberts, ABC News political analyst from Washington, D.C. As you heard him say, he's written a couple of books about immigrants and immigration to the United States. Check it out at your local